As far back into the past as it is possible for us to glimpse, people have been talking to each other. History has left us remnants of communication in the form of pictures, cave drawing, sculptures, hieroglyphs, runes scratched on stones, and fragments of faded parchment. We cherish these messages from the past because we want to hear and understand the people who were like us, although they lived so long ago. However, their communication was not intended for us because they did not imagine us. Most of their interaction took place among themselves through spoken words as they talked to each other within their own communities. The words they uttered were the words that meant most to them, the words that touched their hearts, quickened their understanding and interest, and shaped their lives. They told each other the things that were important to them, and they passed down their treasured stories from generation to generation through oral tradition. We do much the same thing today. The purpose of this video is to acquaint my young teachers with the art of narration and illustration as an effective tool, as a device of teaching. In the words of Penton, narration is an art in itself, aims at presenting to the pupils through the medium of speech clear, vivid, interesting, ordered sequence of events in such a way that their minds reconstruct these happenings and they live in imagination through the experience recounted either as spectators or possibly as participators. So, narration is the art of telling. It is an innately human activity, and because it is a natural part of human interaction, it is a particularly effective educational tool. I hope to give you some insight into how narration can be used as an educational method, a device with students of almost all ages, and I also hope to make you understand the difference between narration and illustration, also telling you and providing you the examples and analogies to make the combination of the two very interesting for the students. In its simplest forms, we can say narration is telling a story in effective manner with some purpose. And otherwise, we do it spontaneously and casually. So, how the narration is necessary, what is narration, and what it means in the realm of education. This is important to understand. Simply act of telling something, but it is now a required activity. And the material being related to it are the various subjects history, geography, science, literature, which has been very carefully chosen by the teacher. So, narration becomes more than simply telling and becomes essentially oral composition. Composition is the art of arranging facts, thoughts, and ideas and presenting them to learners. It involves the speaker or writer recounting a sequence of events and conveying their feelings and thoughts about them. The narrative may be in the form of a written story, a poem, a play, a film, a television program, or an oral presentation. Narration requires teachers to be creative and to use language in a way that will allow them to express their thoughts and feelings. They must also connect the events in a meaningful way so that the learners can understand them. Narration is a form of storytelling where the teachers relay the events of an incident or a plot. It can provide insight into characters, events, and other details of the plot. For instance, a teacher, while narrating, can provide additional context to a situation by describing the setting, emotions, and motivations of the characters. Narration is like a storyteller telling an interesting tale in a captivating way. It is a way for the learners to connect with the teacher and understand the story in a more meaningful way. Narration is like a painter creating a vivid masterpiece with the brush strokes of their words that captures the emotion and bring the story to life. Narration is also like a conductor leading an orchestra, bringing out the best performance from each musician and harmonizing the whole ensemble into an experience that is more than the sum of its parts. So, now let us talk about illustration, that is, communication of an idea and concept through a graphical means, often in combination with text. It is used to inform, persuade, and entertain, and can be found in a variety of mediums, including books, magazines, advertisements, and digital media. It can also be used to explain difficult concepts, making them easier to understand. Illustration can be used to portray a message in a more memorable and visually appealing way, making it easier for a viewer to recall. It can also be used to create an emotional connection with the viewer, helping to evoke a desired response. Illustration is the art of creating visual imagery to communicate an idea or tell a story. Illustration can be used to create editorial pieces, advertisements, book covers, and more. And it can also be used to bring life to a character, product, or concept while explaining a lesson. It is used, in the combination of arts such as photography, graphic design to create more complex visual pieces. It is like a painting. It is a visual representation of an idea or concept created with lines, shapes, and colors. It's like a bridge connecting the idea or concept to the viewer's mind and bringing the subject to life. Illustration, you can say, is like a conductor, guiding the viewer's eye to the subject of the piece and creating an emotional connection with the audience or the listeners. It is like a key unlocking the viewer's imagination and inviting them to explore the subject matter. So, illustration is more like using audiovisual aids along with storytelling. Illustration and narration can go very effectively together in order to make teaching learning more interesting and engaging. Now let us quickly see what is the difference between narration and illustration. Narration is an act of telling a story, providing an account of an event, while illustration is the act of visually representing or depicting something, such as a drawing, painting, photograph, or diagram. Narration is typically done with words, such as in a book or a movie, while illustration is done with visuals, such as a painting or a photograph. Now, by combining narration and illustrations, teacher can create a more immersive and engaging experience for their students. By combining the power of storytelling with visuals, teachers can create a multi-dimensional narrative that can evoke an emotional response from the learners. This makes the message more memorable and impactful and helps to bring the story to life in a way that words alone cannot do. I hope this video would have definitely made clear the narration and illustration, the use of the two in making teaching more engaging and interesting. Hope to see you soon. Till then, take care.